Meghan is hardly innocent. She's down in the dirt with me, whether she likes it or not. You need to know that the story you're about to hear is not gentle in any way. Prince Andrew is speaking, and Meghan is reportedly panicking. Prince Andrew's fall from grace wasn't small. It wasn't private. It wasn't quiet. It was global. His close ties to Jeffrey Epstein and the serious allegations involving Virginia Roberts destroyed his public reputation almost overnight. His titles were taken away. Doors were shut in his face. His royal future was wiped out in full view of the world. Everyone saw it. The press covered it. The palace acted on it. But here's the strange part. If Andrew was destroyed because of his connection to Epstein, why has there been complete silence about Meghan Markle's alleged connection to that same world? It makes no sense. Same circle, same time period, same social environment, yet two completely different outcomes. One royal punished, one protected. No headlines, no pressure, no investigation, nothing. It's as if someone built a wall of silence around Meghan's history, as if certain topics were deliberately locked away. And that silence is exactly what makes this story so explosive. Because silence doesn't mean innocence. Silence means someone doesn't want the truth to be discussed. And that leads us to the next shocking layer, one that completely changes how we look at Meghan's past. Before Harry, before the wedding, before the global headlines, sources claim Meghan had a not-so-secret personal relationship with Prince Andrew. Not a distant acquaintance. Not a casual hello at some event. A close connection. According to people familiar with the situation, Andrew reportedly told friends that he knew Meghan long before she became a duchess, and that their relationship was far more personal than anyone was ever told publicly. This is the part no one talks about. Because if Meghan and Andrew had a real, direct relationship in the past, then she wasn't entering the royal world as an outsider. She was already connected, and that changes everything. It raises questions the palace never answered. How did they meet? How close were they? Why was this never openly acknowledged? And most importantly, why was this information hidden when Andrew's scandal came crashing down? If Andrew fell because of his associations, and Meghan is claimed to have been part of that same circle, why did only one of them take the hit? Was someone protecting her? Was the palace afraid of something bigger? Or was Meghan's history considered too dangerous to expose? Whatever the reason, this chapter of her past was sealed tightly shut until now. And the next clue takes us somewhere unexpected. Onto the water, into a world connected to Epstein, and right into the heart of the storm. If you're finding this investigation valuable, make sure to subscribe to Royal Report Daily and hit that like button. We bring you the royal stories that no one else will cover. When you follow a story like this, patterns matter, places matter, people matter. And in this case, one name becomes a key bridge. Karina Shuliak, Jeffrey Epstein's last known girlfriend. She stated publicly that the only times she ever flew on private planes or yachts were when she was with Epstein. Those trips weren't casual holidays. They were part of his private world, his inner circle, his tightly controlled environment. Now here's where Meghan enters the picture. In 2014, photographs surfaced of Meghan on a yacht, placing her in the same kind of elite, exclusive lifestyle that Shuliak described. A world closely tied to Epstein's circle. Not a public cruise. Not a charity event, a private yacht. And when you connect that to Meghan's alleged past relationship with Andrew, the picture becomes even more disturbing. Same time period, same social circles, same powerful environment. This doesn't look like coincidence. It looks like proximity. And proximity matters, especially when a scandal later explodes and one person falls, while another walks away completely untouched. If Andrew was destroyed because of his presence in that world, then Meghan being anywhere near that same orbit raises the question, what did she know? And why was this never discussed? The yacht is more than just a photo. It's a doorway into a chapter of Meghan's life that was never explained, never questioned, and never addressed publicly. And that silence is where the real story begins. Because the closer you look, the more it becomes clear. Meghan wasn't just standing near the storm, she was standing inside it. As Prince Andrew's scandal exploded, one name stood at the center of it all: Virginia Roberts. She was not a reporter, not a commentator, not an outsider. She was the woman whose testimony helped bring Andrew's world crashing down. And according to claims, Virginia didn't just want powerful men held accountable. She reportedly wanted Meghan Markle called as a witness. Not because Meghan was a celebrity, Not because she married Harry, but because, as the claim suggests, Meghan was considered a close past associate of Prince Andrew. That phrase carries serious weight. It means someone believed Meghan wasn't a stranger to Andrew's private world. It means she may have been present, aware, or at least nearby, during parts of his life that later came under international scrutiny. The reasoning behind this alleged request was straightforward. If Meghan had a personal relationship with Andrew before Harry, she might have seen things, heard things, or been around environments that others only whispered about. And here's the most unsettling part. If Meghan truly had nothing to do with that world, why would her name even be considered in the first place? Witnesses aren't chosen randomly. Witnesses are chosen because they might know something. But when the legal pressure hit and the storm mounted, Meghan was never called. Her name disappeared. Her connection was never raised publicly again. It was as if someone erased that entire chapter of her life. And instead of answers, the world got silence. But silence doesn't erase history. Silence only buries it. And the deeper you go, the clearer it becomes that Meghan wasn't just dropped into royal life. She was already touching the edges of elite power long before she ever met Prince Harry. Which brings us to the next turning point. How Meghan got into those circles in the first place. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to Royal Report Daily for more exclusive royal investigations. When Meghan moved to Toronto to film Suits, she wasn't yet a household name. She wasn't royal. She wasn't globally famous. She was a working actress with big ambitions, but without access to the world's most powerful rooms. That changed quickly. According to sources, something significant happened when she arrived. Marcus Anderson entered her life. A senior figure connected to Soho House, the private exclusive network known for its high-profile members, secret events, and elite connections. Anderson didn't just meet Meghan, he reportedly recruited her. He introduced her to the highest levels of Toronto society. He opened doors that most people never even get to see. Through him, she reportedly connected with influential figures, including Jessica Mulroney, and expanded into circles. Linked to New York's wealth and power, this wasn't random socializing. This was positioning. One introduction led to another. One circle led to the next. One network led to powerful access. By the time her name ever entered Harry's world, Meghan had already stepped into elite environments that traced back toward royalty. Wealth, and according to the earlier claims, Prince Andrew's orbit, her rise wasn't overnight. It was carefully constructed, and the closer she got to power, the more her path began to intersect with names that would later become explosive. But here's where the story takes a much darker turn. Because according to sources, Harry wasn't Meghan's first royal focus. Someone else was, someone older. Someone already inside the palace, someone tied to Epstein. Prince Andrew, before Harry ever entered the picture, sources claim Meghan had her sights set on Prince Andrew, not as a mentor, not as a friend, but reportedly as a romantic and strategic target. This changes the entire story. It suggests Meghan wasn't just drifting through elite social circles. She was aiming upward, calculating, choosing, positioning herself for proximity to titles, status, and royal access. But standing between Meghan and Andrew was one woman, Sarah Ferguson. Fergie wasn't just Andrew's ex-wife, she was his gatekeeper, his long-standing ally, and a protector of his royal space. And according to the claim, Fergie blocked Meghan from getting close enough to Andrew to pursue anything further. That barrier forced a change of direction, because if Meghan couldn't reach Andrew, she needed another way into the monarchy, and that's where fate or strategy shifted dramatically. Meghan didn't expect to end up with Harry. She didn't expect to catch the attention of a prince who was young, popular, and positioned right at the center of the royal spotlight. But when the opportunity appeared, she took it. And once she had Harry's attention, she didn't let go. What began as an alleged plan to get close to Andrew suddenly turned into the biggest royal leap of the century. Meghan didn't just enter the royal family, she married into its very heart. And that move would change everything, not just for her, but for the monarchy, for Harry, and for the secrets now lurking in the shadows. Because the next part of this story takes us into the fallout, the realization, the cover-up, the threat, and the one truth powerful enough to bring it all down. Make sure you're subscribed to Royal Report Daily and have liked this video. We're uncovering the truth about the royal family. When Harry married Meghan, he believed he had found freedom, love, and a partner who stood completely outside the royal machine. He thought he was escaping the cold corridors of the palace and stepping into a new life built on honesty and trust. But according to sources, that belief didn't last. As time passed, whispers began to reach him. Quiet comments, old stories, hidden connections. Mentions of Meghan's past linked to Prince Andrew long before Harry ever met her. At first, he refused to believe any of it. He defended her. He protected her. He cut himself off from the very family members who tried to warn him. But eventually, something changed. According to claims, Harry didn't just hear the rumors. He finally accepted what he had been refusing to face. He realized that the royal family's warnings weren't jealousy, control, or cruelty. They were the truth. And that truth reportedly hit him like a truck. Sources say Harry became disgusted, distant, and completely overwhelmed, barely able to look at Meghan without thinking about the past she never told him about. He felt trapped in California, far from his family, far from home, tied to a marriage now full of unanswered questions. For Harry, this wasn't just a scandal. It was a betrayal. Because if Meghan had a personal connection to Andrew and had once aimed for Andrew rather than him, then Harry wasn't chosen for love. He was chosen for usefulness. And that realization, according to the claims, shattered him completely. But while Harry quietly fell apart, the palace was making decisions publicly, decisions that revealed something much bigger was happening behind the scenes. You would expect the press to explode over Meghan's alleged past connection to Andrew. You would expect headlines, investigations, and non-stop coverage, especially after the Epstein scandal had already destroyed Andrew's reputation. But none of that happened. Instead, the palace and the media stayed completely silent. According to the claims, that silence was not accidental. It was strategic. The palace reportedly had three major fears. 1. Harry's mental state. If the truth came out publicly, it could break him completely. The monarchy didn't want a prince falling apart in front of the entire world. 2. A second Epstein explosion. If Meghan was connected, even loosely, to the same orbit that brought Andrew down, the monarchy could face a scandal far larger than the first one. 3. Institutional collapse. If the public discovered Meghan's alleged past connection to Andrew, the palace could look reckless, careless, and completely incompetent for allowing her into the royal family in the first place. So instead of revealing the truth, they buried it. No statements, no questions, no investigation. Meghan was protected, not because she was innocent, but because exposing her could set the entire monarchy on fire. And while the palace built its wall of silence, one person on the inside was refusing to stay quiet forever. A man with absolutely nothing left to lose. Prince Andrew, hit that like button and subscribe to Royal Report Daily right now. You won't want to miss what happens next in this investigation. Imagine falling alone. Imagine watching your reputation get destroyed, your titles stripped, your future completely erased, all while someone who shared your world, your circles, and according to sources, your alleged personal history walked away completely untouched. That is Prince Andrew's reality. According to the claims, Andrew is furious, bitter, and exhausted from being the only one punished while Meghan remains protected. He reportedly feels he took the full fall for a world she was also a part of. And now sources say he is ready to talk. Ready to leak everything, not out of a sense of justice, but out of pure resentment. And he isn't alone. Sources claim that Sarah Ferguson, Fergie herself, is standing with him. Together, they reportedly hold knowledge about Meghan's past, her connection to Andrew, and the hidden chapters that the palace has worked so hard to keep quiet. For the first time, the danger doesn't come from the press. It comes from inside the royal family itself. A man who has been silenced for years. A man with no future left to protect. A man who could blow the truth wide open with a single statement. And the moment Andrew speaks even one sentence, the world will turn. Because once he talks, silence can no longer protect Meghan. And that brings us to the final, most explosive point. The truth that could end everything. Every story has a breaking point. Every secret has a moment when it can no longer stay hidden. And in this story, that moment is coming. Because according to sources, there exists one truth, one buried reality that could permanently destroy Meghan's royal chapter forever. A truth held not only by Andrew, but reportedly by Fergie and even Princess Eugenie. A truth tied to Meghan's past relationship with Andrew. A truth tied to the Epstein orbit. a truth tied to the reason the palace chose to stay silent. If that truth comes out, Meghan doesn't just lose status, she loses everything: her public image, her royal identity, her future influence. And the monarchy itself could be shaken to its very core. Because Meghan didn't just marry into the royal family, she infiltrated it. And if Andrew speaks, if he finally breaks his silence, the world will never see Meghan the same way again. The story of the modern royal fairy tale will crack wide open, revealing a history darker and more dangerous than anyone imagined. And that's why Meghan is panicking. That's why the palace is frozen. That's why Harry is falling apart. That's why Catherine has stepped into a role of calm, steady leadership. And that's why Charles has reportedly confirmed their removal. Because the monarchy is bracing for impact. The only question now is this: what happens when the man who lost everything finally decides he has nothing left to protect? When that moment comes, the world won't just hear a confession. It will watch history rewrite itself in real time. And this story is only the beginning. This has been Royal Report Daily, your #1 source for royal family, truth, and investigations. If you found this report valuable, please subscribe to our channel, hit that like button, and share this video with everyone who wants to know the real story behind the royal family. Turn on notifications so you never miss our breaking reports. Thank you for watching Royal Report Daily.